Fathers of Reddit. In honor of Father's Day, what was your don't tell your mother about this moment? Not a father, but I was with my dad, and we thought it was a good idea to start a small fire on the porch, the wooden porch. It was made of mostly paper, and we made sure to scatter the embers and everything, but after we went inside and to bed, the wind must have kicked up, because we came outside the next day and there was a giant hole burned into the porch. My dad just told me, "Hey, don't tell your mom, I'll get it fixed." He then proceeded to cover it with a small table. She found out anyway, and we are pretty lucky that the house didn't burn down. Dad and I used to rent a movie each week for when Mum had dinner with friends. Usually things like Star Trek or action films. One day, I was about 11. He came home with Blade. We got about 10 minutes in, and he turns to me and said, "Don't tell your mother about this. Let's just say I forgot to get it this week." Of course I agree. Fast forward 7-ish years. Dad blithely drops at the dinner table the fact that we watched Blade when I was about 11. Silly dad thought there was some kind of statute of limitations on this. When I was in middle school, I was the only one willing to go shopping groceries with my dad. He didn't want to go alone, and my mom was at school studying her masters. None of my siblings wanted to go with him. We used to go to Carl's Jr., have a big breakfast, and then we went grocery shopping. Nobody knew, not even my mom, until years later. He would also let me buy any cereal I wanted. That's actually how I learned how to buy good fruit and veggies, how to order meat and fish, etc. When my siblings found out, they were angry because they were all gone. If a big breakfast was on the menu, my mom just laughed. Nowadays they sneak to have breakfast together before going grocery shopping, since we are all grown up. Edit. Thank you so much for the award. Female coworker of mine was miserable at work one day. I asked her what was wrong. She told me it was her anniversary, and she knew her husband had forgotten. She had preteen girls at home during summer vacation. I knew her home phone number, pre-cell phone era. I called her home phone, and one kid picked up, explained to the kid who I was, and that she needed to call dad at work, and remind him it was mom and dad's anniversary, and don't tell mom or dad I called. The next day she was all smiles. Gosh, he did remember, brought home flowers, and took her to dinner. Mission accomplished. Not a word was ever said about this, until 6 years later, when she left the company. She gave me a hug at a farewell luncheon, and whispered, "My kids ratted you out. Thank you." One night I was enjoying a small bit of ice cream after my 4-year-old daughter went to bed. She came downstairs and caught me, so I offered her a small bite, but since she was supposed to be in bed, I said, "Don't tell mom." She assured me she wouldn't. My wife wouldn't have cared anyway, but it was a fun little game to play. After she went up to bed, and I was down on the couch, she snuck into the master bedroom, where mom was resting. She told mom that I had let her have some ice cream, and she was afraid of sugar bugs, so could she please brush her teeth again. My wife just laughed at me the next day. Little shit ratted me out to brush her teeth, something she doesn't like doing anyway. When my son was 6, I was playing Grand Theft Auto late at night. He wakes up and comes to the living room, tells me he can't sleep, and asks can he watch me play. I say he can, but not to tell his mom. He agrees with a big smile. Maybe after about an hour he is playing, and I'm watching and helping him. He can't stop laughing, driving into people, and running from the cops. I was telling him to watch out for the 520, and he asks me what that means. So I tell him it's the cops. He just shrugs and keeps playing. Now fast forward about a week later, and we are all driving in the car. All I hear is a scream of "Dad, watch out, it's the 520. And I absolutely start crying from laughing so hard, all while his mother is questioning where he learned that. He just says YouTube. She found out later that I'll let him play GTA, but I hope the memory of that is as special to him as it is to me. When my 3-year-old wakes up in the middle of the night, like maybe 3 times a month, instead of putting her back to sleep, okay, her stay up and partake in whatever it is I'm doing no matter what. Sometimes she falls asleep in minutes, and so me time she stays up for a couple hours. I think it's amazing times. I think it may even be dreamlike for her by the way she speaks and moves. She has painted with me, heard my books read aloud, watched Lord of the Rings, and cooked creme brulee. The rulies. It's my time, so if she's gonna be with me, she does what I'm doing just like I do for her all day long. She totally gets it, and never makes it about her. My goodness. Thank you everybody for your comments and your awards. What a special day, to be recognized as a father. My dad and I, around 5 years old, were on our way home from a car show when we were getting followed by the cops. My dad struggled to put on his seatbelt quickly in hopes he wouldn't get a ticket. Unfortunately, we got pulled over. This might have been the first time ever that I saw a cop this close up, let alone speak to one. I was a deer in headlights the whole time. Well, with a cop on either side of the car, the officer leaned in and asked my dad why he was swerving. The dick told the cops I was tickling him. The cops looked at me straight in the eyes and asked if this was true. I was too scared to say anything and just nodded yes. The officer smiled and said, "Never to do that again while your father is driving." Okay. They left without any further words, and my dad gave me the lecture of "Don't tell your mom." TL. Doctor, Dad and I get pulled over when he tried to get his seatbelt on. Blamed it on me tickling him instead. I was in middle school. My father gradually bought computers and monitors for us 4 kids and himself, and the 5 of us would play World of Warcraft together for many days and always log off 1 hour before mom got home. We'd rush all the chores in that 1 hour. That's when we had teamwork at its finest. She never knew we all played, cause she thought it was the devil. Edit. I've never had 1K plus upvotes before. I can't wait to show my dad how much love he's getting on Father's Day. Thank you. Happy Father's Day everyone. Edit 2. Thankful for my first award. My dad doesn't have Reddit, but he'd say this.